Hey guys, Project Void here. Today we're going to go over how to make multiple servers. This will be 3 servers that we're going to make, but I'll make separate servers for other ones. So today's server we're actually going to do a CFX server. I'm sorry if the video doesn't quite line up or anything like that. I forgot to turn on my mic, so I'm having to do a voiceover. Great stuff, right? So here in a little bit we'll start making our actual server. CFX is pretty easy to do, the default server wise anyway, but yeah, without further ado, let's get started here. So on the screen right now, what I'm about to do is make a folder. This folder is where everything is going to be hosted at, if that makes any sense at all. So in this folder will be like our physical server. So you'll see here, whenever I get to it, I'll right click, new folder. I'm going to name it CFX, but you guys need to name it whatever your server is called. So if it has a space in it, it needs to be a dash where the space is. So I named mine CFX, but I'm actually going ahead and make another folder. I'm going to name it Artifacts. This is like the brains, I guess you can call it. So I believe I'll pop it up on screen here, but I'm also I'll link it down below too, but there is also gonna, okay, so we're gonna go to FiveM.net, and then we're gonna click on create your own server. After that, host your own server, which will take us to the docs. I'll leave that link in the description. So for this, we're actually just using TXadmin. You can obviously do vanilla, but we're going over TXadmin. So this guide right here tells you everything you need to do and how to do it correctly. If you're experienced like me, you do a little different, but we're going to go ahead and go to our build list here, which is, this is what it's called, artifacts, basically. Don't ever use what's in blue up there or latest option. Those are over a year old. Always use the latest one with the blue download icon on it. So we're going to let that download, and then we're going to unzip it, and we're going to move it in here. By pressing Control A, we can select everything as we move it over. Once we're done with that, we can actually move it over a little bit so we can close it. We won't need it anymore. Now we want to scroll down until we see fxserver.exe. Double click on that. And then we're actually gonna allow this. It doesn't typically pop up, but normally it does. Now go to your browser, go to localhost, or if you're on like a VPS or whatever and your port's forwarded, go to your actual IP. So now we're going to click sign in here. We'll create our master password. This is what we call the master account. It has every single perm enabled. Basically, it's the owner, you can call it. As you can see here, I kind of struggle with my password for whatever reason. But next, it's by default on default. So all you need to do is just click next. Now this is just a short name. I just named it CFX-server. You name it what you want. Now eventually we'll go over those other 3 down there, but we're going to click on popular receipts and click on CFX default FiveM. If you don't know what you're doing, do not edit that. Click on save. Go to recipe developer or deployer, sorry. Click on next. Now you want to see where it says green there. Click on keymaster. Connect to it. Sign in. As we're doing so. I already had a server, but we click on new server. And then display name is just a display name. Name it what you want. I just named mine CFX server. And now what I'm doing is I'm putting my IP in where it says IP, obviously without the port. If you're home hosted, you use your own IP, vice versa if you're on your own thing also. And then the next one is like, what do you use? If you're home hosted, it's other/home hosting, I believe. And then if you're on VPS, it'd be VPS, Daddy, same thing. Yeah. So I'm actually quick filling that out right now. So we'll give me a little bit here to fill that out. It shouldn't take that long at all. Just a friendly reminder while we get back here. This is currently a voiceover because I forgot to do that. But we generated our key. We posted that in. So now we're running the recipe. You obviously seen how quick that is. CFX, the default, is pretty freaking quick. So now, if you don't know what you're doing, don't change any of that. We'll go over it some other time. But a more important thing right now, what I'm explaining is you need to click save and run server. If you don't do that, your server won't start, and then when you go and start it the hard way, it's just going to make you do all that over again. Pointing out how chat was not started. This is completely normal on the first ever startup, mostly because chat has stuff like yarn and all that, which you can see script yarn. That's all installing all that stuff. Now what I'm doing is I'm installing a resource to show you guys what to do. So this is just your default stuff. I'm currently going on the internet and looking for a car, GTA 5, I think it's GTA5-mods.com is a great site for like cars and stuff like that. Scripts, you kind of have to watch out for them. Another thing too is scripts and all that stuff is you want to find stuff that is standalone. Stuff that works for like QB-Core or ESX, VoidRP, etc. will not work. It has to be standalone. Just keep that in mind. Another thing too, if you by chance go with Red Realms or Nats or basically a custom framework for this, you'll have to have XAMPP and all that stuff installed, which if that's the case, I highly recommend going to the next video. So right now I'm telling you there's two ways to do it. You could do what I just did there. I just dragged it in my resource folder. That works. Then that way you just go to your CFX here, enter ensure space, and then it would be like the resource name. But I'm going to show you the way I always do it. This way I highly recommend. I love to do it this way. It's way more organized. So I'm making a new folder. I do a square bracket. I just name mine's cars with another square bracket closing it. I drag that resource right into there. Now obviously if your resource is like a script or something, then you name it scripts. And then you ensure bracket cars. Now you can go to the live console. That's started now. So you can refresh. You don't have to clear the console, but you can. Always make sure you refresh, otherwise you'll get an error for starting it that it won't be found. And now as you can see, it is currently found. Or started, sorry. If you just go about and start it right away, when your server restarts, it will not start again. So now we're going into our FiveM. One thing here is we're home hosted right now. So that's why you see the connective void on lax. Or on LAN, sorry. If you're on a VPS, you can do what I'm doing right now. I pressed F8 to open the console, connect space, and your server IP. If you're using a different port other than the default port, then you would follow it with the semicolon and your port. But we're on home hosted. FiveM, this is currently on a different server build, game build. So than what my last server was, so I gotta restart all my stuff here, as you'll see. So right now it's just updating everything, then I'll restart FiveM and everything. Give it a little bit here. So as you see, it's analyzing our game data. It's just making sure everything's correct, and then it'll open FiveM. it should automatically, as it's doing right now, connect us to a server. The default CFX does not have a loading screen. So this is what you'll get. Don't freak out, you did not do anything wrong. It does not have a loading screen. So we'll click load in here. Obviously, while we wait for it to go, you can look up free loading screens and all that stuff. That's fine. So, as we spawn in right now, obviously we spawned wherever. I was thinking to myself, I can't spawn in the car because I didn't have vMenu. Then it dawned on me, it's like, oh wait, I have TXadmin. And so you'll see me stop here. That's me right there realizing, oh, I have TXadmin. So you do /TX, which opens that up. Click on the vehicle spawn and then type in the name. And then it'll spawn in your car. Same thing for default vehicles too. If you don't know any default vehicle names, well, you're kind of out of luck. Unless you have like vMenu or something that has a list of them. But if you're doing it via TXadmin, yeah, you can't. Obviously, Caddy is the default name, so if you know it, then obviously you can spawn it in. Then I also go over for the vehicle options here in a little bit that you can also boost your vehicle, which I'll do here. And then you can also delete your vehicle, and then you can also fix your vehicle. And then obviously spawn again. That's literally all it is. But without further ado, guys, we will actually catch you in the next episode. Next episode, we're making ESX server. But we'll get into that next time. But without further ado, guys, we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.